Sometimes the smallest act of mercy costs you everything you have left. Imani's feet were screaming. She'd been standing behind the counter at Bean and Flow Cafe for 11 hours straight, and her shift wasn't even over yet. The smell of burnt coffee and cinnamon rolls filled the air. Her back ached. Her braids felt heavy against the neck. Outside the window, Atlanta's summer sun was finally going down, painting the sky orange and pink. Card declined, the machine beeped. The man at the register froze. His face went red. He wore a plain black hoodie and old jeans, but his eyes, they looked tired, lost, like he'd been carrying the weight of the world. I'm sorry, he mumbled, patting his pockets. I thought I had cash. People in line started sighing. Someone checked their phone loudly. Imani felt her heart squeeze. She knew that shame. She'd lived it. Without thinking, she swiped her own card, $5.73. That was her lunch money for tomorrow. Gone. You good, she said softly, handing him the coffee. Have a blessed day. The man stared at her, really looked at her, like he was seeing an angel. Thank you, he whispered. Then he walked out into the Atlanta heat. Imani didn't know his name, didn't know he was Zion Blake, the billionaire who owned half the buildings downtown. Didn't know he'd been hiding from his fake life, searching for something real. All she knew was her stomach would growl tomorrow, and she still had to pick up Trevor from basketball practice, and rent was due in 3 days. But kindness didn't come with a receipt. Mama always said that. Even when kindness cost everything. For the first time in 10 years, Zion Blake felt something other than emptiness. He couldn't stop thinking about her, the girl with the kind eyes, the cafe worker who paid for his coffee when his card declined, a card connected to $17 billion he couldn't even access because he was hiding. Zion stood in his penthouse staring at the Atlanta skyline. Glass, steel, cold. Everything in his world was fake. Fake smiles, fake friends, people who loved his money but never knew his name. But she was different. The next morning, he came back. Same black hoodie, same old jeans. His heart pounded as he pushed open the cafe door. The bell jingled. The smell of fresh espresso hit him. And there she was, wiping down tables, humming something soft and sweet. Welcome to Being in Flow, she called out, not looking up yet. Hey, Z said, his voice nervous. It's me, from yesterday. She turned, her brown eyes widened. Then she smiled, a real smile that made his chest feel warm. Oh, you came back. She walked to the counter. Your card working today? Yeah, he laughed. Actual laughter. When was the last time? I wanted to, thank you. That was real kind. It was just coffee, she said, shrugging. But her smile stayed. I'm Z. He lied. Well, half lied. Nobody called me Z except my grandmother years ago. I'm Imani, she said, reaching out her hand. When their fingers touched, something sparked. Electric, unexpected, terrifying. What can I get you, Z? She asked. Everything, he thought. A reason to feel human again. Just a black coffee, he said instead. And maybe your company, if you got a break soon? Imani bit her lip, studied him, then nodded. 10 minutes, she said. Zion felt hope for the first time in years. Some conversations change your life, and you don't even know it's happening. Z stayed until closing time. The last customer left at 8:47 p.m. The neon open sign buzzed off. Imani locked the door and exhaled like she'd been holding her breath all day. Long day? Z asked from his corner table. Every day is long, Imani admitted, grabbing a broom. But I'm grateful. Not everybody got a job. Z watched her sweep, watched her move with tired grace. She was beautiful. Not magazine beautiful, but real beautiful. The kind that came from surviving hard things. What about your dreams? Z asked. What do you want? Nobody had ever asked her that. Imani blinked hard, fighting tears. I used to write poetry. Wanted to open a space where kids could do art and feel safe. But dreams cost money I don't got. They talked for an hour about loneliness, about feeling invisible, about how the world kept spinning even when you were drowning. When Imani finally left, she found an envelope under her coffee cup, $100 bill, and a note. You deserve rest. Her hand shook. Anger rose hot in her chest. She tore the note into pieces, stuffed the money in the tip jar for her coworkers. She wasn't nobody's charity case. Not even Z's.
Falling in love feels like flying until you realize you've been lied to the whole time. Z came back every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like clockwork. He'd order black coffee, sit at the same corner table, wait for Imani's break, and they'd talk. Really talk. About everything and nothing. Why you always wear black? Imani teased one afternoon, wiping foam off the espresso machine. It's simple, Z said, grinning. I don't gotta think about it. You hiding from something? She asked, only half joking. His smile faded for just a second. Maybe. By week 2, Z was walking her to the bus stop, carrying her bag, making her laugh so hard she snorted. Trevor started asking about Mr. Z, the nice man who helped him with math homework at the cafe. He's just a friend, Imani said, but her heart said different. Her heart raced when Z smiled, when his hand brushed hers, when he looked at her like she was the only person in the world. One evening, Trevor asked Z directly, You rich or something? You got nice shoes. Z's stomach dropped. Nah, little man, just got lucky at a thrift store. Trevor nodded, satisfied, but Imani noticed Z's face, the way he looked away too quick, the way his jaw tensed. You good? She asked later, standing at the bus stop under the streetlight. Yeah, Z lied. His throat felt tight. He wanted to tell her everything, wanted to say, I'm Zion Blake. I own billions, but with you, I finally feel like me. But he stayed quiet because he was terrified that the truth would destroy the only real thing he'd ever had. Sometimes you hold it together so long, you forget you're allowed to fall apart. Everything crashed on a Tuesday. A customer threw hot coffee at Imani because his order was wrong. It wasn't even her fault. The new girl messed up, but the man screamed at Imani anyway, called her names that made her stomach twist. Don't talk to her like that, Imani snapped back, her voice shaking with rage. The manager pulled her aside. Imani, you can't yell at customers. He disrespected me. I'm suspending you. 3 days, no pay. The words hit like a fist. 3 days, no pay. Rent was due Friday. Trevor needed new glasses. The electric bill was overdue. Imani walked out the back door into the alley. The dumpster smelled like old milk and rotten fruit. Her hands trembled, her vision blurred. And then she broke. She slid down the brick wall, pulling her knees to her chest, and sobbed, big, ugly sobs, the kind that hurt your ribs, the kind you've been holding in for 2 whole years. I can't do this anymore, she whispered to nobody. Mama, I can't. Imani. She looked up. Z stood at the alley entrance, his face full of worry. Go away, she choked out, wiping her face fast, ashamed, broken. No. Z walked closer, slow and careful. What happened? Nothing. I'm fine. Just leave me alone, Z. But he sat down next to her on the dirty ground, didn't say nothing, just sat there, present, steady. And somehow that made it hurt even more, because Imani was falling in love with a man she didn't really know, and she was too scared to let him catch her. Sometimes angels don't wear wings. They wear guilt and good intentions. Z couldn't sleep. He kept seeing Imani's face, the way she cried in that alley like the world had beaten her down one too many times. He wanted to help, needed to help, but how do you help someone who's too proud to take it? The next morning, Z made a call, not as himself, as a concerned donor. He contacted Mama Rose, the elderly woman who ran the neighborhood assistance program at Imani's church. I want to cover someone's rent, anonymously. Make it look like city assistance. Mama Rose was quiet. Then, baby, who you trying to save? Someone who deserves a break, Z whispered. 2 days later, Imani got a call. Your rent's been covered, Mama Rose said, her voice warm like honey. City Emergency Assistance Program. You qualified. Imani stood in her tiny kitchen, phone pressed to her ear, and burst into tears. Thank you, Jesus, thank you, she whispered. Trevor danced around the apartment. We ain't getting evicted. We ain't getting evicted. That night, Imani lit a candle at Mama's altar, a small table with photos and flowers. I don't know who helped me, but bless 'em, please. Across town, Z sat in his penthouse, staring at his hands. He felt good and terrible and guilty. He wanted to be honest with her, wanted to tell her everything, but every time he tried, fear choked the words back down. What if she hates me? What if she walks away? So he stayed quiet, kept lying, kept falling deeper in love and deeper into deception.
Hope feels dangerous when you've been hurt before. I want to show you something, Z said on Saturday afternoon. Imani raised an eyebrow. Show me what? A secret spot. Trust me. Trevor was at basketball practice. Imani had the day off, and Z looked at her with those soft brown eyes that made her walls crumble. Okay, she said, but if you kidnap me, my brother knows your face. Z laughed. Deal. They took the train uptown, walked through a neighborhood Imani didn't recognize, fancy buildings with doormen and fresh flowers. Z led her through a side gate, up an old fire escape, and suddenly, oh my God, Imani breathed. A rooftop garden. Secret and beautiful. Flowers everywhere. Yellow, purple, red. A small fountain bubbling. The Atlanta skyline stretching out like a postcard. The air smelled like jasmine and sunshine. How you know about this? Imani asked, spinning around, her smile so big it hurt her cheeks. I got my ways, Z said, watching her with something fierce in his eyes. Something like love. They sat on a bench, talked about everything. Imani told him about Mama, how she sang while cooking, how she called her strong girl, how she still heard her voice sometimes, telling her to keep going. Z told him about feeling invisible, about how people only saw dollar signs, never him. He didn't say he was rich, but he said he felt empty, lost. You ain't lost, Imani said softly. You right here, with me.
Their faces were close, so close. Z's hand touched hers, warm, real. "Imani," he whispered. "Don't," she said, her voice shaking. "Don't say it yet. I'm scared." "Of what?" "Of this being too good, of you leaving." Z squeezed her hand. "I ain't going nowhere." But lies have a way of catching up. The truth always comes out, usually when it hurts the most. Trevor found the magazine at the gas station on Monday. He was buying candy while Imani paid for gas. The Forbes magazine sat on the rack, and Trevor froze. That face. That same face. Zion Blake, Atlanta's youngest billionaire, returns to public eye. Trevor grabbed the magazine with shaking hands, flipped it open, read the words, "Tech mogul, 17 billion, reclusive." "Sis!" Trevor's voice cracked. "Sis!" Imani ran inside. "What? What's wrong?" Trevor shoved the magazine at her, pointing at the photo. "That's Mr. Z." The world tilted. Imani stared at the picture, same eyes, same smile, but dressed in an expensive suit, standing in front of a skyscraper, looking like money, looking like power, looking like a stranger. "No," Imani whispered, "that ain't—" But it was. She knew it was. Her hand started shaking. Her heart pounded so loud she couldn't hear nothing else. "He lied to me. He lied to me. He lied to me." By the time Z showed up at her apartment that evening, bringing Trevor's favorite donuts, Imani's heart had turned to stone. "Get out," she said when she opened the door. Z's smile dropped. "What?" "I said get out, Zion." She said his real name like a curse. "Or should I call you Z? Which name you use when you slumming with po people?" "Imani, did you feel sorry for me? Was I your little project?" Her voice rose, shaken with fury and heartbreak. "You think I'm stupid?" No, baby, please don't call me that." Imani's eyes filled with tears. "You lied to me every single day." Trevor stood behind her, crying, and Z's whole world fell apart. The truth can set you free, but first, it's gonna hurt like hell. Z stood on Imani's doorstep, and for the first time in his life, money couldn't fix nothing. "Please," he begged, "let me explain." "Explain what?" Imani's voice was cold. "Explain how you played me, how you walked around pretending to be regular when you could buy this whole neighborhood." "I didn't lie to trick you." Z's voice cracked. "I hid it because I finally felt human around you." "Human," Imani laughed bitterly. "You felt human while I was crying in alleys about rent, while I was choosing between food and Trevor's medicine?" Z's face went pale. "The rent money, that was me. I paid it. I just wanted to help." "You what?" Imani's heart shattered into smaller pieces. You played God with my life and didn't even tell me?" "I was scared you'd push me away, like you doing right now." Trevor stepped forward. "Mr. Z?" "Don't," Imani said to her brother. "He ain't who we thought." But Trevor looked at Z, really looked. "Did you mean it when you helped me with homework? When you made my sister smile?" Z dropped to his knees. "Every second. I swear on my life, Trevor. I care about y'all. I love—" "Don't." Imani's voice broke. "Don't say that word. Love don't come with lies." Z stood up slowly. His eyes were red. "I know I messed up, but I ain't sorry for caring about you. I'm sorry I was too scared to be real." Imani wiped her eyes. "Your world and mine don't mix, Zion. You got mansions. I got a 1-bedroom apartment with roaches. I don't care about, but I care, Imani yelled. I care that you'll get bored, that Trevor will love you and you'll disappear, that you'll realize we ain't worth the trouble. Z's heart broke. You worth everything. But Imani closed the door and locked it. Privacy is a luxury poor people can't afford and rich people always steal. The story broke 3 days later. Billionaire secret romance with cafe worker, screamed the headlines. Some snake from Zion's old company leaked photos. Z walking Imani to the bus stop. Z at the cafe. Z with Trevor. By morning, paparazzi swarmed Imani's apartment building, cameras flashing, questions screaming. How long have you been together? Did you know he was rich? Are you pregnant? Imani couldn't get to work, couldn't take Trevor to school, couldn't breathe. Her phone blew up. Old friends calling, suddenly interested, strangers DMing her. News vans blocking the street. Her landlord called asking if she was bringing trouble. I can't do this, Imani told Mama Rose on the phone, crying. I can't live like this. Baby, you love him? That don't matter. Look at my life now. I can't even walk outside. When Z finally got through to her, she was done. I can't live in your world, Imani said, her voice flat, exhausted. Then I'll leave it. I'll give it all up, I swear. And then what? You'll resent me? Blame me when you miss your life? Imani's voice cracked. Zion, this ain't a fairy tale. This is real life. And in real life, people like me don't end up with people like you. Imani, we're done, she whispered. Please don't come back. She hung up. Outside, the cameras kept flashing. Inside, Imani held Trevor while he cried. And for the first time since Mama died, Imani felt completely alone, even though she just walked away from love. Because sometimes love ain't enough, not when the world won't let you have it. You don't know what you had until the silence becomes unbearable. Zion stopped going outside, stopped answering calls, stopped pretending any of it mattered. His penthouse felt like a tomb, fancy furniture, $1 million view, empty, all of it empty. His assistant knocked on the door. Mr. Blake, you have 3 board meetings. Cancel them. Sir, you can't I said cancel them. Zion's voice echoed off the glass walls. Money didn't matter anymore. Nothing mattered. He'd found the one real thing in his fake life and he destroyed it with lies. Across town, Imani wasn't doing much better. She went back to work, but the joy was gone. The cafe felt gray, lifeless. Customers whispered and pointed. Some asked for autographs like she was famous. Others treated her like she'd done something wrong. Trevor stopped talking much, stopped smiling. You think Mr. Z misses us? He asked one night. I don't know, baby, Imani whispered. But she did know. She felt it. The absence, the ache, the missing piece of her heart. Mama Rose came by with groceries, sat at Imani's tiny kitchen table. Baby, love don't come perfect. It come willing. He lied to me, Imani said. He did, and that was wrong. Mama Rose reached across the table. But did he love you? Imani closed her eyes. Remembered Z's laugh, his gentle hands, the way he looked at Trevor like he mattered, the way he listened, really listened. Yeah, Imani whispered. He did. Then maybe, Mama Rose said softly, y'all both need to decide if love worth fighting for. That night, Imani pulled out her old poetry notebook, wrote until her hand hurt. Love came dressed in lies, but its heart was truth. Sometimes God gives you one more chance to get it right. The call came during third period. Miss Washington? The school nurse's voice was urgent. Trevor collapsed. He's running a high fever. We need someone here now. Imani's heart stopped. She was at work, 30 minutes away by bus. I'm coming. Actually, the nurse interrupted. Someone's already here. A Mr. Blake? He's listed as emergency contact. Imani's breath caught. When she burst into the school clinic 20 minutes later, she found Z holding Trevor. Her brother was wrapped in a blanket, leaning against Z's chest. Z was talking soft and low, wiping Trevor's forehead with a cool cloth. You came, Imani whispered. Z looked up. His eyes were red and tired, but when he saw her, something broke open. Of course I came. He needed me. How are you emergency contact? Trevor added me 2 months ago, Z admitted. Asked me to be there if you couldn't. Imani's eyes filled with tears. Z? He's okay, Z said quickly. Just a bad flu, but he was asking for you and for me. Trevor stirred. Sis? I'm here, baby. Imani rushed over, touching his face. I'm here. Mr. Z came fast, faster than anybody. Imani looked at Z, really looked, saw the fear in his eyes, the love, the realness. Can we talk? Z asked. Please? They stepped into the hallway while Trevor slept. I'm sorry, Z said, for lying, for hurting you, for not being brave enough to trust you with the truth. I'm sorry too, Imani whispered, for shutting you out, for being too scared to fight for us. I love you, Z said, and I love Trevor, and I don't care what the world thinks. Imani touched his face. I love you too, but love ain't enough if we can't trust each other. Then let me earn it back, however long it takes. Imani nodded. Okay, we start over, but this time, no more lies. No more lies, Z promised. And for the first time in weeks, hope felt possible. Real love doesn't rescue. It builds side by side. Z didn't throw money at Imani, didn't try to fix everything with his wallet, didn't swoop in like a hero. Instead, he showed up every single day. He came to Trevor's basketball games, sat with Imani during her lunch breaks, helped Mama's friend Mama Rose at the community center, listened when Imani talked, didn't try to solve everything, just stayed present. One evening, Imani said something that changed everything. You remember I told you about my dream, the poetry and art center for kids? Yeah, Z said. I want to do it. Imani's voice was shaky but determined. I've been writing a plan, saving money. I think I can make it happen. You can. You will. But I need help. Real help. Not money. Partnership. Imani looked him straight. Are you willing to work with me? Not for me? With me? Z smiled, the first real smile in weeks. Tell me what you need. They spent months building it together. Z used his connections, not his money, to find a building. Imani designed the programs. Trevor helped paint murals. Mama Rose recruited volunteers. The neighborhood showed up. It wasn't easy. They argued about paint colors, about budgets, about whether to serve snacks at events. But they were building something real, together, equal. I ain't your project, Imani told him one night, exhausted and paint covered. I know, Z said. You my partner, my equal, my whole heart. Imani smiled. Better remember that, Mr. Blake. Always, he promised. And for the first time, Imani believed him. Because love wasn't about rescuing. It was about building something beautiful together, brick by brick, dream by dream. truth by truth. And they were doing exactly that. The moment you stop hiding is the moment you start living. The grand opening arrived on a Saturday in October. Imani's Creative Corner, the sign painted by Trevor, hung above the door. Kids poured in with parents, the smell of fresh paint mixed with Miss Betty's sweet potato pies, music played, laughter echoed. Imani stood at the front, nervous and glowing. She wore her mama's favorite purple dress. Her hands shook holding the microphone. Thank you all for coming. This place, it ain't mine. It's ours. A place where every kid matters, where dreams don't got a price tag. The crowd cheered. Then Z stepped forward. Imani's eyes widened. What are you? Can I say something? Z asked. Imani nodded, confused. Z took the microphone, faced the crowd, neighbors, kids, news cameras, faced his truth. My name is Zion Blake. Y'all might know me as the billionaire from the news, but none of that money ever made me rich. Not really. He turned to Imani. This woman right here, she taught me kindness has more power than money ever will. She taught me that real wealth is showing up, being present, building something that matters. Tears rolled down Imani's face. Imani Washington, Z said, his voice shaken. He dropped to one knee. The crowd gasped. Oh my God, Imani whispered. Will you marry me? Not because I got money, but because you got my whole heart, and I want to spend my life building dreams with you. Silence. Everyone held their breath. Then Trevor's voice screamed from the back, Say yes, sis! The crowd erupted in laughter. Imani pulled Z to his feet, looked him dead in the eyes. You sure about this? About us? Never been more sure of anything, Z said. Then yes, Imani whispered. Yes, 1,000 times yes. They kissed. The crowd cheered. Trevor ran up and tackled them both in a hug. And in that moment, surrounded by community and love and hope, everything felt possible. Sometimes the best stories don't end. They just keep growing. 5 years later, Imani's Creative Corner had 3 locations across Atlanta. Kids learned poetry, painting, music, and coding. Scholarships went to families who needed them. The walls burst with color and hope. Trevor was 17 now, tall, confident, planning for college. He still called Z Mr. Z sometimes just to make Imani laugh. Zion and Imani ran the centers together. He handled logistics and funding. She designed programs and loved on every kid who walked through the door. Their home wasn't fancy, a regular house in a regular neighborhood, but it was full of music, full of Trevor's friends, full of laughter and poetry readings and Sunday dinners with Mama Rose. One evening, Imani found Z on the porch swing. You good? She asked, sitting next to him. I'm perfect, Z said, pulling her close. I was just thinking about that day when you paid for my coffee. That stupid $5 changed my life, Imani said, laughing. Changed mine, too. Z kissed her forehead. You saved me, Imani. You and Trevor both. We didn't save you. We loved you. That's different. Yeah, it is. Inside, Trevor was cooking dinner with Mama Rose, badly based on the smoke alarm going off. They laughed and rushed inside to help out. Later that night, when the dishes were done and Trevor was asleep and the house was quiet, Imani pulled out her poetry notebook. She wrote, One small act of kindness, like paying for coffee, can ripple into forever, into family, into home, into love that refuses to quit. She closed the notebook and smiled, because their story wasn't about money or fame or fairy tales. It was about choosing each other every single day, through lies and truth, through cameras and quiet, through doubt and certainty. It was about building something real, something worth fighting for. A family, a love, a forever. Wow, what a journey. Now I want to hear from you. What was your favorite moment in Imani and Zion's love story? Was it when he proposed at the grand opening or when he showed up for Trevor at school? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story made you feel something real and you want more beautiful Black romance stories filled with drama, love, and real emotion, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you never miss when I drop a new story. And here's something I'm really curious about. Where in the world are you watching from right now? Whether you're in New York City, Accra, Ghana, Toronto, London, or anywhere else on this beautiful planet, drop your city or country below. Let's see how far our community reaches. Much love to all of you. Purple heart emoji, earth emoji. Shining stars.